Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of F1 23 Driver Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. We are headed to Qatar today where McLaren have brought more upgrades and now are back ahead of our team. Coming into today's episode with just 4 rounds remaining in the career mode in total, and we have some upgrades with Audi on the way, hopefully as soon as next episode. However, I'm a little bit frightful that we're going to see a repeat of, the last few races before we came into the last couple episodes where McLaren was just absolutely dominating. I am hopeful that things are going to work out here this weekend, but obviously only time is going to tell as we roll through into the start of this weekend. We jump straight through into free practice 1 in this Red Bull Audi. Now looking for the pace. Qatar, a track that we have had some solid success at in the past. We have a win here a few seasons back now, quite a few seasons ago, when we were actually able to beat Oscar Piastri when he was at the Trackhouse team. Of course, that was an absolutely thrilling time. But yeah, we focus in on just putting in the quickest laps possible here, just finding a comfortability with this Red Bull. We have, of course, 3 wins on the season and 2 back-to-back coming into this episode after winning in Monza. And then last episode, we didn't really, in my opinion, have pace to win, but we just played our cards right. We played the strategy right. We were able to get the win in China, fresh off of a McLaren double DNF as well, which puts us only 17 points behind Charles Leclerc coming into this round. So obviously, following today, only 3 races will remain, so it's going to get interesting, and in the final 3 rounds of the season will be Zandvoort, so we'll be heading to the Netherlands, and then the penultimate race will be Abu Dhabi, and then of course season finale at Brazil, as we are ready to get rolling here from qualifying Saturday night. Now Q1 usually should be a breeze, but I found myself struggling a little bit for pace here in Q1 as we head down this front stretch, get that rear wing open. Now we cross the stripe and we only go P13, and by the end of the session we would drop to 15th. We barely squeeze in as Maloney, Piastri, Schumacher, Tsunoda, Lawson all out. Looking at the top 10, we're about 3/10 out of the top 10, so hopefully we can find that here in Q2. We get rolling in Q2 now as we head down into turn number 1. This actually being my second lap. My first lap I invalidated, so this is my second lap in the session, trying to find some time, and it felt like an okay lap so far as we're rolling up on the back of some traffic here. Jarno up here on the Ferrari, Frederick Vesti just in front of him as well. Now as we come through in this final sector at this point, just hoping that we make it through into Q3, heading down into the final turn. Sure enough, we come to the line. What is it going to be? Not enough. We're out in Q2, P11.
Okay, mate, that is 11th. We're out.
There's no way, dude. I don't know. I can't believe that. We miss making it into Q3 by not even half a tenth. Jarno Otmir makes it in. That's rough. We've got some work to do, and I expect the McLarens to be up towards the front. This could be a pretty rough night as we head to the grid in Qatar. And before we do that though, we did have Formula 2 as well joining this weekend here in Qatar, and actually we saw Bianca Bustamante actually win her first race in Formula 2, holding off Mansell. Kimi Antonelli continues at the top of the championship, currently 3rd place in the actual Grand Prix, while our drivers actually both end up in the top 5, 4th and 5th. So pretty happy with that as you see the rest of the order going from 6th down to the bottom of the top 20, as now we'll focus in on heading racing in Qatar for Formula 1.
Welcome to Qatar, and hello from the desert rain. Well, there's not been much rainfall, but it's concentrated right here and just in time for the Qatar Grand Prix. We're back here in Lateral for a track that's 3.34 miles long. There are 16 turns around its unique 3-pronged shape and just a single DRS zone out of turn 16. It's fast and it's flowing, and there's a good overtaking opportunity with DRS down the long straight and into turn 1. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Aiden Jackson lines up on pole position, just ahead of George Russell, who starts this event from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Gasly, Leclerc, Drugovich, Mayer, Norris, Yuri Vips, Behrman of Ferrari, Golden Boy, Doohan, Albon, Chadwick, Vesti, Maloney, Oscar Piastri, Mick Schumacher, Tsunoda and Liam Lawson. And now it's time to head down to the track. And it's an absolute pleasure to be joined once more by Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Golden Boy. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
It's been a really solid year so far. There have been some incredible standout performances, but what's really impressed me has been the consistency. With this kind of form, I'm expecting another great race today.
Now ready to go here as the strategy is going to be pretty straightforward. 2 stops, looks like way too much today. You can see the time difference, so we'll be doing the mediums to hards, hoping for the best now as we have some work to do. We need to get the elbows out here on the start to move our way forward.
The formation lap gets underway then, and it's going to be interesting today to see how the dry conditions could affect the lifespan of the tyres.
We have one driver getting risky, going for the soft tires start. Yuki Tsunoda thinking the 2-stop strategy is the way to go. I don't know about that. It looked quite slow compared to the 1-stop here today, but only time will tell on that one.
As the cars make their way back to the starting grid to form up and get ready for lights out, let's hope the race ahead today is a thrilling one that will go down as a memorable Grand Prix in the history books.
Sorry about last night, guys. I know that's certainly not helpful, considering it looks like McLaren's back in form, so I'll do what I can here on the start.
No pressure, just get after it here.
No pressure, says Mark here, as we all get ready to form the grid, and the McLarens, of course, up there in full force now. Not a front row lockout again, but still, nonetheless, looking very quick here now as the back cars roll up to the start here, and we are ready for the final 4 races of this F123 driver career mode. Now, starting from P11, lots of work to do. What can we do on the start? It's time to find out. We're racing here from Qatar, and you see it's a poor start from the Ferrari of Vips. Now 3 wide, Norris there in the middle in the Lamborghini, Behrman to the left side in the Trackhouse. He'll go 3 wide around the outside with the Mercedes of Gasly. I went 3 wide around the outside as well with Norris and Otmir. Looks like it works out for everybody somehow in that whole process. Aiden Jackson leads over George Russell, and then championship leader Charles Leclerc P3. Our teammate Dragovich currently in P4. His future currently still uncertain with the Red Bull team. Our future with the Red Bull team as well, uncertain as well. We signed a pre-agreement with Fernando Alonso and BMW Andretti stating that if we win the championship this season, we will go to that team beyond, well, the career mode will be dead, but continuing the story. If we don't win the championship, the story would live on as we stay with Red Bull and, kind of progress from there. So the big question is now, where is that going to go? What's going to happen? Nonetheless, we still have a championship to focus on. 17 points is the difference. The McLaren's looking really fast right now. If you look at the track map, you can see Aiden Jackson currently pulling away from the cars behind him, and Leclerc is already putting pressure on the back of George Russell. So this is going to be interesting to watch. It looks like that McLaren of old from just, a handful of episodes ago is clearly back, as now I have reeled in Pierre Gasly virtual safety car actually going to be deployed, and it was for some contact into turn 1 between Alex Albon in the Lamborghini and Frederick Vesti in the Williams Audi. The front wing shatters, torn off, and that brings us the virtual safety car. It was very quick, very short-lived by the tail end of this lap 3. We're back racing. DRS immediately enabled here now, as actually Charles Leclerc, he's all over the back of George Russell for second place. I believe he's going to be able to take the position right here. Yes, he is. And now to P2, and the hunt is on for the lead. Leclerc makes it a McLaren 1-2. Dragovich there just trailing just behind those 3 drivers now as we continue on trying to reel in Gasly again. Now I actually gave up a little bit of time when we were going to the end of the virtual safety car, so I had to kind of spend a lap or 2 to reel these guys back in, but we have gotten here now as we're up to the back of Gasly, the Frenchman in the Mercedes at this point now, as I was finding it just a little bit difficult to really put my car where I needed it to be, and it just didn't seem to quite have the pace that I expected it to have. And now we see a move here from Gasly on the inside of Yuri Vips there into the right-hander. Now this is not what I want to see, is 2 side-by-side cars through, of course, higher speed corners. That's just absolutely ruining our time right here now now, as Otmir as well, just behind Oliver Behrman. They both trail myself, but the front straightaway, look at the speed in the Mercedes that I just don't have right now in my Red Bull Audi, as though a chance to go around the outside of Yuri Vips opens up. Here we go to the left rear wheel, side by side briefly at a turn 1, into turn 2, we take the position clear, and we move up a spot there. So we got to be tactical here tonight now, as it seems like the pace isn't quite where I want it to be. So just focusing in on getting this lap time in, and of course just being consistent and not making any mistakes. As you can see, a little bit of a slip right there to the rear from Gasly, and it seems like as the tires are wearing, this has been the strength of our car really all season long, with this new tire that Bridgestone has been bringing this season. Of course, at the beginning of the season they tried an extreme tire wear, and that was quite a bit overboard, and they've settled on this one instead, and it really seems like our car is able to pounce as the run goes on. And there you see, we go around the outside and we take the position from Pierre Gasly. We continue on now, another spot gained. Next up, that's Callie Mayer, just in front in the 5th position, just under 2 seconds to her. Drugovich 2.7 seconds up the road here now, as it seems like he's struggling as well a little bit for pace. He can't quite put the fight to the Mercedes of George Russell. Fortunately, however, is able to at least stay inside of the DRS, so that is good to see. Now yellow's actually behind us in sector 1, and that's looks like Schumacher. Mick Schumacher with the mechanical failure, and it's going to be the end of the day for him and what's been a miserable comeback season for that BMW driver, and really just not been a good season for the BMW team. It's never really gone well for BMW here in F1 23 career mode. We continue on though for our own race, coming towards lap 10. The pit window for us is pretty straightforward. It's going to open about lap 13, and we're going to come in, put on the hards. I'm not really looking at trying anything creative like we did in China, because we're not really in that position like we were in China to try something different to really catapult us forward. We could try pitting it now, but I just don't see it making enough of a difference like it did in China. We wouldn't be able to get the lead out of it, but we continue to utilize the strong tire advantage here. Now Callie Mayer locks up on the hairpin. We slip through on the inside, thank you very much now, and as that's happening, more problems. Frederick Vesti, it's been a terrible night for him, and now it gets worse. End of the day, a mechanical failure for him. 2 mechanical failures on the first 11 laps now, as we continue marching our way forward. Drugovich and Russell just in front. The 2 McLarens continue to run away, and like I expected, it is exactly like we have seen in those earlier portions of this season, as McLaren have brought some upgrades into this weekend. But like I said, it sounds like Audi is going to be bringing some powertrain upgrades again for us in the next episode, so we're gonna have to pounce back, because without a safety car here tonight, we're not beating any of these McLarens. They're already quite a ways down the road, unless we can find something special. But I could not pass Drugovich. Lap 13, we're going to come into the pits, and so is George Russell. I'm going to hustle this car around this bend, make sure we get the best pit entry and aggressive pit entry possible here now, as we get down to speed, and we'll come in and get those hard compound tires on. Now Leclerc is still trying to chase down Aiden Jackson. We're going to get out just in front of the traffic. We're actually going to get out in front of the Mercedes of Russell. A huge pit exit right there. Great pit stop from the team. We continue on. What can we do now going forward over the next few laps now? Of course, when everybody's going to start to shuffle into the pit lane as well, including our teammate of Drugovich, the 2 McLarens. Aiden Jackson continues to lead. You can see the gap he has right now as they roll through sector 2 over his teammate of Charles Leclerc, as he is trying to hang on to get his first win in what's been a little while now. Aiden Jackson, 2 wins on the season currently, trying to match me at 3 here tonight, as we were under pressure big time right now from George Russell. Leclerc's now into the pits, and so is Drugovich and a few others, but down this front straightaway, Russell breezes past me. I had nothing for him, but we're in front of Drugovich at least, so we get into P5, and we will be a net, of course, P4, as we just try to stick with Russell. At the end of lap 15, here's Aiden Jackson making his pit stop. Does the Leclerc pitting 1 lap earlier make enough of a difference to get to the lead of this Grand Prix? This could be huge. It's not going to be enough. Jackson out in front of Leclerc through turn 1, but Leclerc does have a bit more of a optimal window of a tire temperature right now. Of course, he has gotten a whole lap on them, but it wasn't enough. Jackson stays ahead here now, as we continue to actually trail Russell by a bit more of a gap than we just previously saw. So he's currently driving away, and I'm doing everything I can to at least stay within the DRS. Here we go. Leclerc to the lead of the Qatar Grand Prix. Now, if we can't beat McLaren tonight, we need at least Jackson to win this race to save a little bit of the damage now. I don't want to go more than a full race behind on points at this point in the season. Of course, it would be very difficult to make up as we go around the outside of George Russell, taking the position back with the DRS assistance here on lap 18, coming to lap 19 at this point. As you can see, just really settling in, trying to open up a gap now at this point to get out of the DRS range of Russell, as well as Dragovic, who's right there with him, but it wasn't happening. They continue to be right there on me, so it was getting a little bit frustrating. And just like earlier, I'm hoping that the tires are going to continue to wear and we can of course take advantage. But now, coming to 10 laps to go, let's go through the grid.
Charles Leclerc back out in front as McLaren look to take the Constructors' title here tonight. Owen is over 5 seconds back in third as they run. The McLaren is back in form with the upgrades they brought this weekend.
I think Owen will spend the rest of this race fighting with Russell as well. The Mercedes continues to challenge the Red Bull team.
Ted Kravitz, what can you share with us tonight?
Yeah, guys, I was talking with Red Bull employees earlier, and they expect Oldie to bring an upgrade going into the next race. So no panic yet in Owen's title fight. However, I have a lot more juicy news that is starting to pick up in the paddock. We know Owen is in a contract year with Red Bull. Well, it appears that he has already signed a pre-agreement with Andretti BMW. I'm not sure what the clauses are behind it, but it sounds like it is a done deal. Red Bull has no previous knowledge of this.
Well, I can assure you they will know very soon now, Ted. That is big news. Why would Owen leave Red Bull to go to Andretti?
Let's remember who runs that programme, Martin. His former teammate and F1 legend, Fernando Alonso. Just maybe Fernando presents him something very appealing.
I would have to think so. Ted said a pre-agreement, so there is clearly an exit clause for Owen to not go there at all.
How about that? During through the grid, I don't know how it's got out, but Ted Kravitz basically confirms that we signed a pre-deal with Fernando Alonso, and no one else was supposed to know about that, and now Christian Horner and the team are going to be well aware of the situation going forward into these final 3 rounds of this career mode. I'm a little bit concerned about that now as we continue on, and now actually trying to bring this in every episode here. We're going to have a little behind the camera segment now where I show me actually racing on the wheel here as we continue on. Lap 22 at this point, the gap to Jackson is now over 6 seconds, nearly 7. I am really hoping he can find a way to pass Charles Leclerc. At this point, I have nothing left to run them down, and it's just not going to happen. The McLaren is just fast here tonight in Qatar. It's really frustrating because we've gone through this season already, but like I said, we are supposed to have some upgrades on the way, so it's not the end of the world. George Russell overtakes us back into 3rd position now, so we drop back down into 4th, but I'm not too concerned about this now. We can stay within the DRS, and I think as his tires wear, we're still going to have opportunities to get him back here now as we continue on, just following in the DRS. Gasly, by the way, has gotten past Felipe Drugovich. These Mercedes are coming on strong at the end of this Grand Prix. We are still fighting for 2nd in the Constructors against this Mercedes team. McLaren, by the way, right now, running 1-2, are about to lock up and clinch the Constructors Championship 4 races early here now as we have a battle for the lead coming to lap 25, 5 laps to go, and here we go. Jackson to the lead of the Grand Prix, uses the DRS and gets back out in front. Exactly what we need to see. We need to do everything possible to make sure we finish in the 3rd position at the bare minimum here now as we're right to the back of George Russell here as we come through the double right-hander now, just waiting for the right opportunity, but now it felt like to me it was time to lunge at him. You can see he's starting to slip and slide. Look how much we close in on him, where the downforce sections of course are really prominent, so it's clear that Russell is starting to struggle, and now it's time to use our tire advantage with this Red Bull Audi to our advantage and get to the point and run away. So here we go, looking for the move with 3 laps to go into turn number 1. We go to the left side, wheel to wheel, axle to axle, and clear on the exit of turn 1. Back into a podium position. Now let's drive away, and that's exactly what we are going to do here now as we immediately open up a gap of 0.8 of a second to George Russell, but it just continues to climb. This is what 2 laps to go, approaching at this point the final lap. 10 seconds to the McLaren of now 2nd of Charles Leclerc. It was incredible what they were able to bring when they just have a little bit of an advantage over the competition. in the R&D here. It's going to be P3 for us as we continue to open up the gap. 1.6 seconds now to George Russell. Gasly 5th there as well, but it's McLaren 1-2. Jackson leading the way into the final turn. Don't rule out Leclerc making a move. There's a long front straightaway and a long run to the line, so hold on. It might not be over quite yet. A little bit of a wobble right there. Leclerc runs a bit wide. Jackson's into harvesting. DRS, battery on overtake. Who's it going to be? Leclerc tries to show the nose. It's not enough. P1 for Aiden Jackson, his 3rd win of the season. That limits the damage that Leclerc could have done today. P3, and a bit of still a disappointing night. Again, some work to be done. Alright boys, good recovery. We'll take it. Solid night. Hopefully we can get back on top next week.
Gary, it's Christian. Great comeback drive, but we need to have a conversation tonight.
That's a spectacular victory, and with it, the championship is secure. It's been a magnificent season, and they thoroughly deserve the cheers of the crowd here today.
Not surprised to hear Christian Horner say that. We kind of expected it, with Ted Kravitz just deciding he was going to let everybody know what's going on. Aiden Jackson, though, with the win, focusing in on that at least. And yeah, like I said already a few times, I mean, damage limitation there. McLaren, I mean, couldn't be stopped, couldn't be held back, couldn't be touched. And at least Jackson was able to get the win and keep Leclerc from getting, you know, the 25 points that really would have hurt us, because that would put us over a full race behind with 3 races to go. That's hard to make up, and this at least puts us into a position, 3 races to go, we're going to be a little bit less than 25 points behind. I'm thinking it's going to be probably, I think, around 21, 22. I can't remember if Leclerc got the fastest lap or not. However, that's going to obviously mean going into next episode, Zandvoort, a track that hasn't treated me very well in the past. We're going to have to make sure we beat McLaren again, and it's going to really come down to, will Audi be giving us upgrades going into the next episode as we continue in this very tight driver's title fight at least. The Constructors is wrapped up. McLaren has won the Constructors Championship this season. It wasn't even a contest. They were just, I mean, the consistency of those 2 drivers, fantastic, as you see the point standings now. Sure enough, 21 points, Jackson with the win, 34 back. So he cannot be ruled out either with 3 rounds to go. It is going to be interesting. Netherlands Zandvoort is really going to paint a true picture of how this championship fight is going to be settled out, I think. So there you see the Constructors, 140 back. We have just over 50 points advantage on Mercedes. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.